Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my buddy Jessica.
Stop it. Don't like it. All right, guys. So this is our annual, because this is our third video. We've done this for 3 years in a row. So this is our annual Irish recommendation video for your St. Patrick's Day pleasure.
Do you have leprechauns? Because I feel like you
No.
would read something with leprechauns in it.
Oh, I haven't read one of those. If you guys have a romance with a leprechaun, let me know. I haven't, huh?
Okay.
No. Okay.
I'm wearing my leprechaun dress.
I'm just wearing my green
I'm an
sweatshirt.
elementary school teacher.
Yes. Yeah. No, I nope, no leprechauns, but we will have traditional Irish fare and not corned beef and cabbage, because that's not traditional Irish. That is American. On St. Patrick's Day.
So
I'm gonna what? You blinked out there.
I stopped talking.
Oh. No, I typically look up actual Irish recipes.
To celebrate your Irish roots.
To celebrate my Irish roots. That's right. Yeah. So, all right.
I need to talk to my dad and figure out exactly
what your heritage is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I am adopted, but I know my biological parents, in case people are like, that's weird.
Yes, no. No. Yeah. Okay, so before we get started, we got to tell the fabulous people out there watching.
Well, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like and comment. We do have a giveaway going on. Am I pointing to a graphic yet, Jessica?
No, you're just telling them right now. Yeah. No.
So when we get to 3,000, we do have a giveaway, but we are going to need to do something before then. So
yeah, we'll
stay tuned, subscribe.
We'll figure it out.
Thank you for your support. And we just love something I've been noticing in the comments is that people are like talking with each other and giving book recs, which I just love seeing, like the community that's being built here on Bestie Book Reviews. So
I do too.
Thank you guys for being a part of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So it's really cool. All right, so let's give them their 10 recommendations for St. Patrick's Day, or just Irish. Yes. I like a good Irish hero. I'm all about an Irish hero. So
you are.
So I am. All right, ready?
Yes.
So the first book that I have is, okay, this one's a little odd because you have to read the first book. This is the second book. Both books are in Ireland, but this is The Devil Himself by B.B. Easton. And like I said, you have to read The Devil of Dublin before you can read The Devil Himself. But I'm going to give you both because I've already talked about The Devil of Dublin before there was a second book in, I think, our very first Irish recommendation video. But this is about Clover and Damien. So Clover is our heroine. She is our Irish heroine, and she hears that the Bratva are going to attack Ireland, and she lives on the Irish coast, and somewhere on the Irish coast, I can't remember where. And her father, like, they're all told to evacuate, and her father doesn't evacuate. She's also just kind of a social pariah in town. And so she sees these boats show up off the shore, and that Damien is on those boats. He is working with the Bratva, and something happens where he is injured. There's some bombs that go off. Her house is like leveled. She loses everybody. But she rescues Damien, who falls into the water during all of this. And she has to choose whether or not she's going to kill him or save him. And then what are the repercussions of that? There is a lot that goes into it. There's a ton of Irish folklore in both of these books, and it plays a huge part in the story. And if you listen to the narration is amazing. And I wrote it down before, but I can't remember who the narrator is. The male narrator is an Irish actor who has actually been in Game of Thrones and Vikings and stuff. And so you're going to get that real Irish accent, and I just love it.
Is that Troy Duran?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, he's amazing. Okay, what do you have?
Okay, so my first one is The Warlord by Callie Ash. So this is about Sloane. Sloane has been raised in the mafia world here in America. So her dad is part of the Irish American mafia. And so she has been kind of raised a little bit of a badass. Her dad did drills with her and that sort of thing. So she knows what to do if she's ever abducted. And guess what? She gets abducted because her dad is a horrible man. It may not be so bad that she was abducted. Anyways, he was selling her at an auction, and the person that was supposed to be getting her did not end up winning. So they abduct her. And that is Grayson. So Grayson abducts her to take her back to Ireland to his boss, who is going to marry her. And it's a whole thing. So she gets abducted. She's taken there. Grayson is put in charge of watching her before they get married. And Finian, who she's supposed to marry, is just, he's horrible. Like, he's at the club all the time doing stuff. And Grayson gets really mad because he feels like Sloane is a woman that he should be faithful to. And Grayson may start to develop feelings for her, but he is the warlord. He is supposed to be the one that Finian can really count on to take care of things. But they also have a rat situation, not like rats, but a rat in there where their shipments keep getting intercepted and all of that. And so there's like a lot happening. It's very fast paced and I really enjoyed it.
Okay. All right. So the next book I have, honestly, you could read this book and the book that came after it. I think there's a third book in this series now because they're all Irish Mafia, but we're going to talk about the very first one because I've talked about the second one a few different times. And that is Ruthless Savage by Lillian Harris. The second book, just so I can get it out here, is Brutal Savage by Lillian Harris, but we're going to talk about the first one. So the first book, Ruthless Savage, is about Arrow and Devlin. Devlin is Arrow's bodyguard. She is the Irish princess in this Irish mafia. And she's always had a thing for her bodyguard. Like there's always this flirting. There's always things that have been going on behind the scenes. They like each other. But Devlin can't, he can't do anything about that, right? Like he can't act on that. And so you have a situation where he has gone through something very traumatic and he needs his comfort. He's dealing with a lot of that. But during this time, Arrow's father decides to marry her off to somebody else. And there's a part of Devlin who wants to stop it, but there's also a part of Devlin that feels like she deserves better. But is she really getting better? I don't know. You'll have to read the book and find out.
Yeah. Wasn't that a teaser?
I'm telling you. Okay.
All right. My next one is Make Me by Summer O'Toole. And this is part of the Fox Family Crime Syndicate. And we have Harlow. Harlow is out with her best friend when her best friend is murdered right in front of her. And she sees some identifying tattoos that lead her to believe that it is somebody from the Fox Family Crime Syndicate, their whole thing. And she goes to the police and she believes that they're not doing enough to find out who this mass unaliver is because there's been a string of murders and she's very frustrated. So she decides to take things into her own hands and starts tracking this guy herself. And that would be Cash. And she is following him. Cash is following her. It's a whole thing. He ends up taking her, trying to keep her safe, and while trying to convince her that it's not him, while she then starts to fall for him while she's thinking that he is responsible for what happened to her best friend. Loved it.
Okay. I love all of these, especially when they're like Irish
Are
mafia.
all of yours like mafia adjacent? No. Okay. I have some that aren't either, but I'm starting off strong.
But a lot of them are. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the next one that I have is not mafia adjacent. I mean, there might be, I don't remember if there really was or wasn't in this one, but it's a shifter one. So it's a little different. So So this is called Her Irish Wolves, and it is by Theodora Taylor. This is about our heroine, Naomi. She is, so in this world, she's actually in Scotland at the beginning of this book. Her sister is getting married in Scotland, and so she is there for her sister's wedding, but she's also entered a bride program because apparently the birth rates have dropped for a lot of these packs that are in Ireland and Scotland. But there has also been a prophecy about this person coming in and uniting these people in Ireland and bringing some stuff together and bringing about the new set of births that are supposed to happen. And so that leads Naomi to being abducted by some of the leaders of these Irish groups and clans and being taken into Ireland. And so that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give anything away about it because it's quite. There you go, popped right up real quickly. I don't want to give anything away with this one, but I really liked it. It was like a different take on the whole shifter thing, and I really enjoyed it. Plus, it's Irish. They're all Irish.
One of these days, we're going to do this, Rick, and you're going to have a shifting leprechaun.
Oh, will it be like the Bigfoot one I read? Because that was just way too weird because his wiener shifted and grew. Remember, it like grew and then it was like hanging from things with it. I can't forget it because it was that bad. That was years ago. Okay, anyhow, do you remember now?
There are so many things that you share with me that I try so hard to block out. And unfortunately, that's not one that was blocked out. I do remember.
I tried to block it out and I couldn't either. So it's all good. Okay, what
But
else
I
you
mean,
got?
there were texts literally from you where he kept telling you to stop traumatizing me, and it just kept coming.
I love traumatizing you. It's a part of our relationship.
Yeah. I think your exact words were, if I had to live it, you can hear about it.
I think that is written in the bestie code.
Oh, we're not following the buddy code.
No, we don't follow the buddy code. That was a mistake. The bestie code. All right, what you got next?
Okay. My next rec is called Hunting Pretty by Sienna Blake.
Okay.
And this takes place in Ireland. And Ava she has a stalker. And he comes into her room at night and she has allowed him to have her way with her. She has no idea who he is. I just went with it, okay? Like, you do you, girl. Okay. That's what you want to do. Go for it. Like, she's pretty smitten with the stalker guy. Anyway, so then, oh, now I lost my train of thought. Okay. So she was adopted when she was 13 and she does not remember anything prior to being 13. And I believe that they're not in high school anymore. I'm not sure if it's called college, but they're in like that realm. And one of her friends goes missing and she's trying to investigate that. And the police keep saying like, oh, she just ran away. She ran away. And she's like, I don't believe it. That's not what happened to her. Something happened to her. Well, this gets really complicated and I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say that she has more than one stalker and somebody does not want her to continue to investigate what's going on. So one stalker may be trying to keep her safe from another stalker, and this is a wild ride, but I really, really enjoy it. And I don't want to say anything else because it's one of those suspenseful things where things could be given away. Just if you like some dark romance with some suspense, like a lot of suspense, and you like an Irish, an Irish romance, this is an Irish dark romance.
Ooh, yeah.
That's how I should label that.
That is exactly
Yeah.
how you should label that.
It is perfect for
Yeah.
your March reading.
Okay. All right. Well, I have to go back to my mafia before I end on a non-mafia. So we're going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to go with next is Dangerous Innocence by Cora Riley. This is one that she wrote like last year. It came out and it's Irish. So we're going to talk about it. So this is about Ashleen. Her sister goes to America and goes missing. And so she decides that she's going to go find out what happened to her sister. Her sister has a small child that is left that Ashleen takes care of. And so she leaves he's left behind when her sister goes to figure her stuff out and goes to America. And so she's like, okay, I gotta figure this out for the sake of my nephew. And so she comes to America to look for her sister. And that is where she runs into Lorcan, who is the head of the Irish mafia. She catches his eye. And there are some things that transpire, but because she catches his eye in a specific way, there is a forced marriage that has to happen and so much more. But I'm not going to tell you anything else. I'm just going to tell you that it's Irish and it's forced marriage and it's Cora Riley. That should be enough to make you want to read it.
Mm-hmm.
It just should be. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I am going to do another Irish Mafia, and then my last one will not be Irish
Okay.
Mafia so much.
Okay.
All right, so mine is Deal with the Devil by Deborah Garland. And this, I listened to this one. So the cast is fantastic because it has Troy Duran in it and Lexi Evans. So you get that Irish accent. So Katya is being married off to like this awful, awful man. She is the illegitimate daughter of this mafia dude, her dad, and her sister, who is like his pride and joy, who he believes he's going to marry off to like advance like their family and everything, decides wants no part of it and runs away. So he spends time searching for her and is like starting to, it's taking a financial toll on him. So he decides to marry Katya off to be able to continue to fund looking for her sister. And he marries her off to a horrible, horrible man who is he's just awful. And the night before their wedding, he like actually beats her and leaves bruises on her face. Well, we have Lachlan, who's part of the Irish mafia, and he has kind of admired Katya from afar and felt like her father was really stupid for not protecting her and taking better care of her and treasuring her, basically. And he's not going to have this. So he storms into the wedding with armed men and stops it and takes her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you need no more information.
Yep.
It's a very good listen.
Yeah, I listened to it too. I really liked it.
Yes.
I do have to say I was wrong. Troy Duran is not who narrated The Devil of Dublin and the Devil himself. It was Eric Nolan.
Oh, okay.
I found my notes right here because I don't think Troy Duran is actually Irish, but I could be wrong.
Wow, he sounds so good.
I know it could just be an accent. But again, like I said, I don't know for sure. I could be wrong, but
To
I know
keep
Eric.
up an accent, like a fake accent like that the whole time. Well, I guess a lot of like
A lot of them do it.
actors are British and they will speak just fine.
Yeah,
Emily
they will with
Blunt,
an American
like,
accent. Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to her talk and she like will go back and forth sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's very like, I'm like, wow. And to
Christian
think you
Bale
keep
does it
that
very
up.
easily.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
one of my vampire shows, True Blood, one of the characters was British, and I watched him do an interview, and it just threw me off because he talked like how he would, and I'm like, wait a minute, no,
Yep. So, okay.
you do not sound right.
You know, a lot of them can do it. And I'm like, oh, is it the American accent
Yeah.
just that easy for you or what? I don't know. So, okay. So let's talk about my last one. This is Tangled Threads of Fate by Grace McGinty. Now, this is a duet. So you probably want to read both books, but this is the first book in the duet. This is in her I can't remember what she called it for her duet. So anyhow, it is a duet. Okay, anyhow, so this is yeah. This is about Ren and her cast of men. Because it's Grace McGinty, we know that it's going to be reverse harem or white shoes. And so Ren is living in, I believe it was Chicago, and she has all of a sudden one day she finds out she's pregnant, and she hasn't had sex in over a year. So where these babies come from is kind of a little bit of a mystery. It's a lot of a mystery, actually. And she lives in this apartment complex. It's actually like a house that's been broken down into 3 different apartments. On the bottom is this little old lady who takes care of her. The little old lady is from Ireland. And then she has the top apartment. And then in between is our little hottie, which is Nate. The pregnancy is a little mystical, I guess we're going to call it, because Nate has to take her to Crete, where she meets up with these other creatures. It's very like Greek or pantheon gods type situation. There's something going on with this, but Nate is our Irish hero. Nate actually turns out to be the Irish god of war, and we know that early on. He is living as a human, but he is the Irish god of war, and I will take that Irish god of war any day. He was the best out of all of them. He really was. Whew. Anyhow, this was a fun filled adventure in this book. It was very fast paced. It was you never knew what was going to happen next. There was a lot of things that were going on. It was just really, really cool. And I really, really love this duet. And we've got an Irish god of war. What else could you ask for?
What is behind you?
The bunny or the
Is that a
pillows?
bunny?
It is. It's a stuffed bunny. I don't know where it came from. It's a mother-in-law thing.
Oh, okay. I couldn't
Don't
see
want to
its
mess with anything.
face, and so I was confused about what it was.
I'm always confused.
Okay.
I don't want to move anything, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay.
What's your last rec?
My last rec is The Dark Before Flight by L.M. Halloran. And this is about Talia and Kieran. Kieran is an Irish tech CEO, and to say he's kind of spiraled and not doing well would maybe be an understatement. Functioning, but really, really spiraling. And so he is kind of forced into going and seeing Talia, who is a therapist. And Talia immediately recognizes him and knows who he is because many years ago he did something very kind for her, but he does not realize they've already met. And so she just is determined to try and help him, even though he is almost determined not to get help in some ways. And so this we have therapist, patient, like that whole forbidden part. And then we definitely have like some BDSM happening in here. She is maybe more dominant and he maybe needs to let go a little bit. And then there is some romantic suspense as well happening. I really enjoyed this one. I love L.M. Halloran. She is like an amazing author. But what really like the story comes down to is how far is she willing to go to help him, and where does she draw that line with her ethics? So I really love this one. It's set here in the United States. It's not in Irish, but he is an Irish tech
Okay.
CEO billionaire.
Yeah, we like that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, there you go. There's all your hot Irish recs for your St. Patrick's Day or just your March pleasure. Or just
Or
your pleasure
anytime, really.
any day of the week. Yeah. And we do
Yes.
have 2 other videos that
Oh dear.
huh?
I said, oh dear.
I know one of them is really like it's from when we first started, but there are good recommendations in there. So I will either put them in the cards or just check out the playlist for our Irish recs.
Don't judge us too harshly. I'm
My
sure in a
hair was
couple of years we'll be like, oh my gosh, about these videos too.
probably. Yeah. So okay,
All right.
go check them out.
Well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. So if you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button, like and comment below. We love to interact with you. And please make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, as well as sometimes Wednesdays.
Sometimes Wednesdays. All right, guys.
We're
Thanks for
just
watching.
very non-committal on Wednesdays.
No. If we commit to it, that means that like we have to actually do it. I'm not committing to it. We do a lot. So anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy that Irish beer, and we will see you on the next video.